First tonight, shocking footage is circulating of the vicious attack on two Gardaí by a group of men outside a pub in Ballyfermot in Dublin in the early hours of Sunday morning. The Gardaí, one male and one female, were called to the scene in response to a public order incident and were able to call for backup, but not before being kicked and beaten to the ground, with both later requiring hospital treatment. 4 people have been arrested in connection to the attack, with one woman being charged and released from custody, scheduled to appear before the courts at a later date. The attack was recorded and shared widely on social media. We'll have a look at that footage now, and a warning that viewers may find this distressing. And we've blocked out some of the commentary as well around that footage that was posted with that. But here with me to discuss this is senior news journalist with the Sunday Independent, Mark Tighe, Minister of State for Law Reform in the Department of Justice, James Browne, Sinn Féin TD, Louise O'Reilly, and People Before Profit Councillor for Ballyfermot, Cllr Hazel De Nortúin. And you're all very welcome along to the programme tonight. To come to you first, Hazel, on this, and we didn't show the full video, we just showed an element of it. And people who have access, who have seen it, will say that it is really shocking to see Gardaí being treated in this way, requiring hospital treatment after such an attack. It is the second attack in recent times in the Ballyfermot Cherry Orchard area. And as a representative there, I suppose, what's been the community reaction to this?
I think it's important to say that there's been condemnation of this level of violence within the community. Everybody has the right to go about their work in a safe manner. And from all the texts and calls that I've been getting today, they've been really disgusted about what they've seen. I suppose it's important as well to say that those particular instances that you're referring to were caught on camera, but there is a particular level of violence within the community that isn't unseen. And I think it's the detrimental effect that that's having on residents. And it does have a huge effect on it. And we would always be calling for more discussions around multi-agencies to see how we could best support people within the community. Because
there was a lot of talk, of course, in the wake of the incident in Cherry Orchard just in the past 2 months, about resources in the area, about helping the community there, about people not having to live in fear and incidents not happening the force in this area when they are patrolling the streets. Do you sense that anything changed in the wake of what happened in Cherry Orchard, as I say, back in October? Because judging what we've seen in this video there, that's really frightening to see that just such a short time after the incident involving the ramming of a Garda car in Cherry Orchard.
I think on a fundamental level, nothing has changed for those people who are being affected on a one-to-one level, whether it be from right next door or to violence at night on the road or instances like that. I think the services have come out, and the local reps have, the guards have, and the community have come together, and they've put plans together to see how best it could be supported. I think it's also important to identify that this is a decades-long issue that we would have had. We would have been saying that there would have been levels of antisocial that may rise and peak within communities, and the Minister for Justice, Helen McEntee, is coming out to us on Thursday, again following on from that incident that you said, to look at maybe some of the services and supports that we've put together in a social plan to see how we can be best supported. But I do think if we're not tackling it on a fundamental level and really getting into the nitty-gritty of it, we're not going to see any change on this.
James, your reaction to what's happened, because we have heard condemnation yet again from, the Taoiseach today, from Helen McEntee as well. But many people watching will say, words are all very well, but where's the action around this? Where's this sense that people who have, it would appear, absolutely no fear of the law are able to carry out attacks such as this on members of the force?
Well, I think what we've seen was totally unacceptable, and there needs to be a zero tolerance approach to attacks on Garda Síochána. My thoughts are certainly with both members of Garda Síochána, their colleagues and their families, and I understand both have left hospital now but must be seriously traumatised as a result of those events, and I wish both of them a speedy recovery and a full recovery. Myself and Minister McEntee have been out to Cherry Orchard and Ballyfermot on a number of occasions, and myself and Minister McEntee will be back out on Thursday morning as well to meet with the community groups, as we have done already. There has been an increased Garda presence there, but I do agree with Hazel. I mean, what we need to do on a fundamental level with younger people who are getting involved in antisocial behaviour and crime is to put those resources in place to tackle the
You're
poverty.
you are saying an increase of Gardaí on the ground, but look what's happening. Look what's happening. Those Gardaí on the ground, how they were hospitalised after an attack when they were at work. And they obviously felt very vulnerable. And even though there was a backup call, it didn't prevent what happened.
No, absolutely. And their work is protecting the community and keeping the community safe. To see an attack on a frontline workers like that is absolutely horrific. So it is. And so and I know there was quite a rapid response from the Armed Support Unit and other Garda units, but what we've seen there is totally unacceptable. Attacks on members of Garda Síochána carry up to 7 years simply for an attack, but whereas a serious assault can carry up to life imprisonment.
OK, and we will talk about that legislation and those laws around attacks on the force and on frontline workers. A little earlier, I spoke to President of the Garda Representative Association, Brendan O'Connor, and I asked him if Gardaí on the beat would say that what we saw in Ballyfermot reflects a wider trend of increased attacks on Gardaí nationally.
Absolutely clear. What we saw today was very shocking, even for experienced Gardaí who are aware of the phenomenon, just to see it laid bare what actually can happen, go into a routine incident, two Gardaí respond to something which is probably fairly run-of-the-mill, a report of a disturbance, and to see such relentless violence visited upon a member, that repeated attack, punched, kicked, repeatedly, and the vulnerability of our officers there on the scene, on the front line, is very, very disturbing for all our members. It doesn't probably come as a shock because we know that this level of violence exists and we know that it's on an increasing trajectory. But certainly as for members of the public to see it, I suppose, is very enlightening for them, because this is what we've tried to articulate on behalf of members. But of course, this is only the second. There's at least another piece of footage of the circulation in recent times from the city centre, two members in Operation Citizen who came under a similar sort of sustained attack. So certainly the phenomenon is most concerning and needs to be addressed.
So, Brendan, in terms of safeguarding the guards and keeping the Gardaí safe on our streets while they carry out their duties, there's much talk around body cams and their use. Would your members say that this would dissuade people from assaulting Gardaí?
Well, we would, and we would say that the level of equipment that's available to our members is perhaps 3 decades behind what it should be. That's in relation to IT systems, and so body cameras have come in recent decades. But I think really what our members, speaking to members today and taking messages and phone calls, are saying, what is the plan? It's well established that the streets are becoming more violent. It's well established that guards feel probably disempowered when they go out there because they just feel that they don't have that respect or that authority. So, we're a long way into a modernisation programme. We're a long way on from the Commission of the Future Police. And we've had management initiatives, we've oversight, we've an inspectorate, we've a police authority. So let's empower, the guards that went out, that paraded for duty tonight on night shift and are going out there and facing into the unknown and possibly what happened last night could happen any time. They're saying, where's the vision? Where's the plan? Where's the leadership? And that's what we want to know, because yes, we do need equipment, we do need training, we need all those things, but we need to feel a sense of purpose and that what's happening is being recognised and something is going to be done about it. And the kind words of support are very welcome. We've had them from people in positions of leadership in community and politicians at the highest level. But we need to know, what are our own management going to do? What is the plan for the guards, the men and women that are on the streets tonight that are vulnerable to these attacks? What's going to be done? What's going to change? What are we going to learn from this experience? Or what's society going to do to protect those members?
Clearly, you're looking for action from Garda management. Also in the area of legislation, Brendan, mandatory sentencing. We are again hearing calls around that. Mandatory sentencing for people who assault Gardaí, who assault your colleagues and indeed other frontline workers. Do you believe that that's necessary? Do you think that that would act as a necessary deterrent, to protect your members more and maybe to make those responsible think twice before they attack?
Absolutely, and we've been repeating this ad nauseum. That has been our message for many years. Custodial sentences are very much part of what's needed. But we understand that there is legislation before the Houses of the Oireachtas, and if cross-party political will was there, it could be introduced very quickly. So again, we say we're very thankful of the kind words. We accept the support, and it's very reassuring. But let's see some action. Let's see this legislation move through the Houses, and let's find out what exactly is the position of our legislature, and do they back our sentiments, or is it just empty words that will come at these times? OK, Brendan O'Connor of the GRA, thank you for joining us tonight.
Louise O'Reilly, Brendan, they're talking about cross-party political will. Do you think that cross-party approach is there when it comes to protecting Gardaí, to introducing legislation? We know that Helen McEntee has been talking about sort of maximum sentences, new maximum sentences. Do you think the new laws will go far enough?
I think they will go some of the way. So I do want to send my own best wishes to the 2 members of An Garda Síochána who were injured in the course of their duty. Nobody deserves to be treated like that. They should have the right to go to work and carry out their duty free from that type of interference. But I think what's needed, as well as the legal element, there is also a community element. And Hazel and my colleague, Councillor Tighe Doolan, they work within the community, and the community can tell those in power what it is that they need. That assault that took place, I'm from Ballyfermot, that assault that took place a couple of 100 yards from where my cousin lives with his wife and 2 kids. Like, the entire of Ballyfermot is made up of people who are decent, hard-working, who do not want this in their communities. They don't want it. It comes to them. They don't want it. And they have a zero tolerance, as the Minister has said. They want a zero tolerance approach as well.
On that zero tolerance approach, and we heard Brendan, he's one of a number of people to call for this and look for this minimum mandatory sentencing of people who assault Gardaí and indeed attack frontline members, be they nurses or anyone working at the front line, ambulance workers or that. Would that be something that Sinn Féin would be in favour of?
Well, I think we've seen not just an escalation in violence on our streets, but if you listen to Phil Tighe from the INMO, she will tell you that there has been an escalation of violence within A&E. And so I do think that zero tolerance approach is important. And for those people who are on the front line, we need to listen to them, to what they are telling us that they need.
Mark, in terms of, and we talked as well about body cams, and I know there's deep frustration at the delay of those being rolled out to officers who say it's actually really frustrating that when we see evidence, when we see video footage, it's not coming from them, it's coming from somebody uploading it from across the road.
Exactly, and you can see people uploading those. I know you redacted what was on the caption, but it was like Gardaí getting broked up, laughy face emojis. These people are laughing at this, thinking this is funny. It was the same with the Garda cars that were rammed. People are laughing at this, thinking this is great fun. So there's a contempt there for Gardaí. And, I know, speaking to a lot of Gardaí, they say it's a bit of a revolving door. When they prosecute someone, they're back out, within 24 hours, 48 hours. Maybe they'll get a suspended sentence. So there's a big frustration there. Yes, there are quick things that could be done, or things that could be done faster, like the body cams, which are, every bobby in the UK has had them for 10 years now. We're not going to get them until 2024. Something that could be used as evidence to help convict people. They'll be shown to a court, get these people off the street when they do stuff like this. And, Gardaí would feel frustration when they're moving to bring in drug testing for us and make us pee in a jar. They won't get us a body cam where we can get evidence against these people.